Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you for joining me once again for one of these Fate Grand Order Diary entries, and we are coming up into the 9th anniversary, and as you can see there, we've got our new servant of Space Ereshkigal. Now, big things are that amongst the other summons that we have there, we are going to have a destiny order, so we get to pick and choose what we really want to do in terms of, do we want, say, we pick one of each of the different types, kind of, some of the later ones on group together in the extra classes, and we get a random 5-star among those. So it's really nice in that we get to pick and choose some from each class that we like, and we're guaranteed to get one of those, almost like a second GSSR, which we also have a GSSR. So we're going to be taking a look at those different, as they're calling them in this one, pavilions, to see which ones we need. I've already gone over sort of what I want to do for both of those, so we are going to do those first, and then we're going to go into some Space Ereshkigal summons. But before we do, I did want to say that I did try to make a video for the previous event, the dancing dragon cafe type of event there that had the Azumi no Misora, which unfortunately did not record properly, so I was not able to make a video for it, and unfortunately I wasn't able to get that out. But what I was able to do was take a couple of photos, not necessarily the ones that I needed for everything, but I just kind of wanted to go over some things quickly. First of all, before that, I did some summons in that whole summer rerun from this previous year, and I went through and I got another one of these Ace the Saviors, because unlike the other ones where I did pretty heavily to try to get some of the 4-star servants for the Berserker Castoria, and ended up getting like 7 copies of her or something, so I didn't need to do any more summons for her, since we got the Suzuka Gozen in another summons, and we already did the ones for the Melusine. That's it, for the Melusine. And all in all, there, I mean, we were able to get them through, and we got some extra copies of the Ace the Savior. We got, and the last copy that we needed for the Melusine, we finished up all of the other Fairy Knights, and we got what we wanted from those. And as for our Azumi no Misora, as you can see here, I did get a copy, but also, as you can see here, it does not say new, because it was during the first rounds of the summoning that I realized something was going on with the recording, so I was not able to record that there, but I did get the 2 copies that I generally tend to try to get. The first one did take quite a while for me to go through. I think that, let's see here, I probably had to go through maybe about, I don't know, I did not get it on the pity summons, but it was pretty far in to get it. So I'd probably say that there was at bare minimum 20 summons to be able to get it, if not more. But surprisingly within it, or maybe not so surprising, Kiyohime decided to show up a whole lot. As you can see, there's a couple of her 3-stars here. But there was, I think, at the very end, after all the summons were done, about 18 4-star copies of Kiyohime Lancer. And honestly, that's a whole lot. Now, it will help out, because with this update for the 9th anniversary, we now have the other 2 append skills, which are going to allow us, for the 4-stars that we've gotten a whole lot of, to be able to open up the other append skills. For our 5-stars, though, they have increased the amount of coins that you get for bond levels, so that you would be able to get those append skills a little bit easier without necessarily having to get extras of the 5 stars, though you probably do need to get extras of the 5 stars just to be able to get all the append skills. But, you know, that's sort of an issue for later on down the road. But now that we've kind of gone over all of that, we can go into the summons. So why don't we peek on in here to see what we've got. So we have our Space Eresh here. We're going to do that in just a little bit. And we've got our Destiny order here. You know, we'll be able to pick out our servants. But we have all of these pavilions here. Now I've gone through all of them to take a peek. And if I remember correctly, there are 3 that I would be in the mood for. First off would be here in the Ordeal Call Pavilion, because currently in the background there we've got the Durga and we've got the Breedomart. I have 4 copies of them, so I could still use one. Medusa Saber I've got 3, and Count of Monte Cristo I've got 2, so it's a guaranteed, no matter which one I get, it's good. Additionally, if we go on through, later on down the road here, come on, keep on going. Right here as well, the Guda Guda Pavilion 2. Now, Takasugi Shinsaku, we've had him for the Boys' Day a few years in a row, but I've only gotten him up to 4, so he's still available. Both Takede Shingen and Uesugi Kenshin, both of those have only 2 copies since they're from the newest Guda Guda events, so don't necessarily have a ton of them. And the Sen no Rikyu I have 3 copies of, so this is another one where I'm guaranteed to get one of anything, and it's good. And then lastly, we have the Borderless Pavilion 2, which has the 2 that we had from our crossover with the witch event there, the Kumano Hot Springs Mahotsukai no Yoru crossover, as well as the Ushigozen evil Avenger form of Minamoto no Raiko, which we have only 2 copies of each of these. And having looked at everything, this one here that I'm on right now, the Borderless Pavilion 2, is the one where it's the least likely for the servants to come back up. Now, having looked ahead at the JP server, it looks like we are going to get an Aoko and a Kuonji Alice summon banner for one of the upcoming New Year's or one of the other anniversary events. So they will be able to come back with one, but as of right now, I don't think I saw anything for a rerun for Ushigozen. There might be. I know that next year, if it's in line with the Japanese server, there's these summons, like the weekly summons for all the different classes, but unfortunately, I'm not really looking to go in on those much for servants, unless I think that they really won't have another summons for a long time, just because they come up very frequently, and I'm not looking to spend that sort of cash on them. So, because these ones might be the hardest ones to get going on into the future, this is what I'm going to be doing for my GSSR. So we've got enough paid quartz here for this one, as well as our Destiny order, and then we'll be able to use the rest on Space Eresh, because there was over like 500 that I was able to collect based off of missions and things that they were given, though we did have some extra maintenance that happened between here on the East Coast from essentially midnight until at least noon, if not later, but we didn't get any compensation for that yet. So potentially more coming up in the future, but let's see if we do this. Yep, you know, we want to proceed. This is the one that we want. We've got it. Come on, I've got my fingers crossed. It'd be great if we got 2, because it is possible, but any of those servants, good to get. That's none of them there. Just a free Suzuka Gozen. Okay, we'll absolutely take that, because I like my summer Suzuka Gozen. I believe that we are guaranteed to get a 4-star in this as well, maybe. But, you know, we're going to just be getting anything that we get. Sugitani Tenjubo, Zenjubo. There, she was from one of the recent ones. That makes sense for us to get her as well. None of the craft essences or anything that we have any sort of interest in. They're the rate of ones for the space Eresh, are not going to show up in here, so it doesn't quite matter. Caster did not shine. It's just going to be a Zhangzhou. So we keep on going. I mean, if it's not guaranteed to give a 4-star servant, being able to get the Suzuka Gozen is pretty nice. And here we go. Gold spin. Are we going to get something good? Pretender. Okay. Keitku, Mido Care. Now, these are the two essentially that I had a hard time getting in the summon, so it's weird getting them here. I could have saved a little bit of ports. And we're going to get an Avenger, so Ushi Gozen. Fantastic. Okay, the one that I thought was going to be the hardest to get going forward, we got. I would have taken any of them, but that was probably just edging out the other two just because it's difficult to get, and we're getting a Shufu. Okay, a lot of interesting servants there, extras of the 4 stars that we were looking for our summer stuff, and we got our Ushi Gozen, that's great. I mean, and I kind of doubt we're going to get another one there, but, it would be nice. We have gotten duplicates in the past, and I know people have, but I think this is our last one of the summons, and unless it's gold, which it's not, and it's not even one of the types, so even if it's shown, so we're just going to get a Zenjubo again. And that should do it. Nope, okay. We got one last one, but it's a craft essence. But yeah, like getting, a copy of the Summer Suzuka and the Summer Fairy Knight Tristan, the Kite Sith, or Baoba Sith, not Kite Sith. Kite Sith is from Final Fantasy, but yeah, getting those two, that was hard to get. Again, it's like, man, I wish that had I known that was going to be the case, I shouldn't have, used the extra court for their summonings. But yeah, another copy of Minamoto no Raiko Ushi Gozen is absolutely perfect, because likely not going to be getting another one going into the future quite as easy. And so I'm happy to get those there. Why don't we do it? We got our free 10 here, so we're just going to skip on over it. We got some stuff. It's going to mostly get sold. So now that we've done that, we just have Destiny Order and the Space Eresh. Now, for the Destiny Order, it looks like we would be able to put Richard the Lionhearted in because we got him randomly early. But why don't we take a look at some of these? We've got a lot of these ones here. Of course, every single one of them is summoned, and we can see that there are plenty of them that I have at 5 out of 5. Like all of these ones here down are 5 out of 5. Now, from what I have seen, I'm not going to do anything that's permanent or story gacha, so sorry Dioscuri. And we did see that the Trung sisters are going to be having their event repeated, so don't need to necessarily do that. Richard the Lionhearted is going to be our New Year's servant, so it'd be easy to get more of him. Probably not want to do that, so it's just down to Yamato no Takeru and Medusa Saber, and Medusa Saber gets a lot of banners, so it's going to be Yamato no Takeru. For our archers, again, not a whole lot. We've got the story for Nikola Tesla, but we're not going to do any story, and as well as the Tametomo, we don't necessarily need to do that, so we're down to Ptolemaeus, Durga, and Takasugi Shinsaku. Well, Ptolemaeus is going to have a banner for this event, so I don't necessarily want to do him. In Takasugi Shinsaku, we will have every single Boys' Day to be summonable, and so that leaves Durga, and I could potentially do Ptolemaeus, but I'm going to do Durga. She's had a lot of banners, so we'll do her as well. For our Lancers, again, the Lion King, Artoria Lancer is story, Vritra is permanent, and we have also Bhima, who is story. So we're kind of down to Britomart, so Freedom Arc is going to be our one event servant we'll put in there. Down in the story, we've got Mabe and Quetzalcoatl. Again, not going to be doing those. And actually a lot of permanent servants that are riders. Europa, Nemo, and best friend... Oh, Taigon Wong, that's what it is. It's not Yunling, it's Taigon Wong. So those, the fishing bro. So it's like those routes, we're left with 4 limited time servants now. Andromeda is going to come back in our Valentine's Day, and we usually get some pretty good luck on Valentine's Day banners, so I'm going to skip on that. I'm not a big fan of the Constantine. I really don't use him as a servant, so I don't want to use up the slot for him, so it's just down to Takede Shingen and our Kyokute Bakin. And Kyokute Bakin has given us trouble in the past, but she is at 4 now, and Takede Shingen is the newer unit and has probably less chance of getting picked, so we're going to take him. As for casters, pretty much everything is filled up other than Ace the Savior and Kuonji Alice. And Ace the Savior is a summer servant. She's going to have repeats. Kuonji Alice, we know, is going to get a banner for upcoming either New Year's or anniversary, but less likely for her to come around, so we are going to pick her. Assassin, again, no story, no permanent, so no Kashin Koji, no Lee Shuan, that's what it is. So sorry Lee, sorry Kashin Koji, we're sticking you behind. We're going to take the Tets in there. We missed out on a summons for him with some of the other ones from there, and we do know that with story stuff often getting repeats, there will be a way to get you again. As for Berserkers, no permanent, so we're gonna leave behind you or May, whatever the senpai was, that was dressed up as Akuta. It was like Yu Mei Ling or something like that. And we're going to leave behind her partner. We're going to leave behind Galatea, which just leaves Sennorikyu, which again we had talked about before. A lot of servants here within our Destiny order. But when I came down to it, I kind of came down to only 3 sort of servants that I'd be interested in from the limited time to be able to try to get. One of the last ones to come off was Uesugi Kenshin, because she is going to be getting a banner here. So it came down mostly to Ushigozen, Count of Monte Cristo, and Young Moriarty Ruler. Now, Young Moriarty Ruler and Count of Monte Cristo are both in story-centric portions of the game, so they are likely to come back in those sorts of things. So even though I just got her in the GSSR, we are going to pick Ushigozen again, because if she doesn't get another summoning campaign in 2 years, why wouldn't I wouldn't be upset to get another copy of her. And then when she does eventually come back, we only need 1 more. And finally, in our last one, which actually had the widest pool of things to be able to pick, again, a lot of things that are old we already have. Essentially, we're only looking at this top, but it's like, oh, we've got Azuki no Misora that just came out. We have Aoko that also just came out. Wanjina, which is fairly recent. We have Kukul Khan, which would finish it up. We have Rasputin, and we have Koyanskaya Dark, and we have Bunyan Alter Ego. And I think among all of those, the one that I saw has the least likely ability to come back is the Aoko that we did before. So those are the ones that we are going to pick. It is possible, I believe, to get 2 of these within this one as well, but we get 1 guaranteed at least. So we are going to use those other paid courts. We are going to perform this Destiny order. We've picked out who we want, and we're just going to hope we get lucky and, we get, well, we're guaranteed to get one we want. Starting off with Avenger, did we get another Ushigozen? Oh my goodness. Yeah, Raiko really likes me, I guess. Summer Raiko, Berserker Raiko, and now even Ushigozen, which I wouldn't necessarily say is a bad thing because I like my Raida servants. You know, you've got Raiko and you've got Shuten Doji as some big ones there, and it's like, yeah, I'll absolutely take some of those there. And then we also got the other one, Murasaki Shikibu, as well, which is also another Raida servant, another one of my favorites there as well. I remember doing some projects in university based around Murasaki Shikibu, so that one has a little bit more of ties to a bit more of my past there. But the other ones, just enjoy them from their Fate counterparts. So we've already gotten our big one there. I doubt that we're going to get any more unless some of these shine gold, which it looks like they're probably not. We're getting a Gilles de Rais, but it would have been great if that one's shown and we got like a Yamato no Takeru along with it. You know, it'd be great if any of these ones shine to just give us an extra 5-star, right? Wouldn't that be great? But now that it's kind of come to that, let's just skip over the rest. You know, if we get another one, we get another one, but I kind of doubt it because look at that, we just got another 4-star. So yep, 2 Ushigozens, so we'll be able to bring it up from MP2 to MP4, which is very, very nice. We'll be able to use her to do a bit more farming with it. So that is great. And with all of that, we are just down to our Space Eresh summons. So our second summonable beast servant, which is pretty interesting. So I'm hoping that we can get some good stuff because Draco really loved me and we got her copies really easily. So maybe the beasts will continue to be empathetic and want to get summoned. As always, single summoned. Likely not to get anything, but we have gotten in the past, so always will try. But let's go on into our main summons. We are going to get some new craft essences, so we will be on the lookout for those. But we're going to be skipping over most of these, unlike the other ones, just because we're going to be trying to go until we get a Space Eresh, and we're going to be reviewing all of these, starting off with the 4-star CE, Crown in August, getting the different forms of Sion. So we'll take a peek at those. We've already gotten that one there. That was a big pause, so that is going to be a servant of 4-star or higher. We are going to be getting a rider, okay? Europa, Nemo, Taigon Wong, nope, it's going to be a Martha, so just a 4-star. You know, that's fine, but we could still use them there. 4-star, Crown in August, increase C-star, gather rate by 300%, arts goes up, NP strength goes up. I mean, hey, for a art servant that likes to deal in crits and has a, you know, nice, powerful, noble phantasm there. I mean, the arts crits are going to get that MP gauge filled up faster. They'll be able to do it. So something like Melusine Lancer would be really good. I mean, even Melusine Ruler is also pretty good for that. Okay, yeah. Well, as always, good for the collection. There, we'll go into our next one, see if we can get anything in this one. Will the beast come forth to be conquered? Another rider, okay. Nothing there, just a little Alexander. Going right into a gold summons, okay. Who are we going to get here? An assassin. We can use Kashin Koji, but is this going to be an Emiya? Okay. We're okay. You know, he's been complete for a long, long time. Ordinary Blade. I believe that this is the last copy we need to finish up that CE, so that's not too bad of a summon. And another Crown in August, okay. We need some more of those to finish it up, and we got the 3-star CE here. Welcome to the Expo for our anniversary. Gain 1 C-star each turn, increase crit strength by 3 and MP strength by 3% as well. Okay, you know, just a decent little universal 3-star craft essence. Not too bad there. We're just going to be looking for our 5-star craft essence now. to be able to finish those ones off, but, obviously we'll want to get them for MLB copies, so we will need to be getting some more, but it should be the same ones. There's another Crown in August for the Ptolemaeus, as well as the Uesugi Kenshin banners, which are going to be the only two amongst those that will be coming up that I will want to summon in. Another Crown in August, that is good. Okay, another 3-star CE. Keep on going. Now, again, really glad that we got so much free quartz for the anniversary, so that we will be able to do some of these extra servants for the Space Resh, and here we are, Flames of Ovation for our 5-star, which is going to showcase our Avengers, Jean Alter and my boy Edmond Dantes, the Count of Monte Cristo, on it there, because we just finished up with Ordeal Call 2, so really glad to be getting them. Oh, and we get double of them there, so very beautiful girl, Jean Alter, as well as my boy, which is going to begin with NP charged at 50%, which should go up to at least 60 when it's MLB'd. Increase MP charge by 1 level when using NP 1 time. That might probably go up to 2, and crit strength goes up by 5%. So yeah, good for ones that want to do crits. A lot of Avengers don't have good MP batteries, or at least didn't originally. Now some of them, like Jean Alter, has gotten an MP battery skill for one of her strengthenings, as has Edmond Dantes. So, it kind of makes sense that they would want to put those on there so that they can start up and try to get those MPs off quickly. And we got 2 of them in the same one, which is nice. And another 5-star, which we are already set on, so we're going to pass on it there and get right on into some of our other servants here, or other summons. Now, we're going to be good on craft essences. We'll be looking to get some extra copies of them, but pretty much craft essences we can skip over because we are going to be all set with them here, and we don't want this to go too long. 8 bloodlines. Now here we are with another servant. Oh, another beast. Always really cool animations for some of these guys. Look at her there, hugging onto her little sheep. Beast Space Ereshkigal. Coming in clutch really early so that we can still summon for her. And that was the last one of the summons. Great.
Ereshkigal です。夏？何かのお祭り？とにかく不思議な召喚方法だけど、普段の私と何も変わっていないから安心して。いろいろ思うところはあると思うけど、その一生に一度の夏なので。
Okay, so we got cute little Space Eresh, who is coming in, not even knowing that it's summertime, not even knowing that she's getting summoned there, and she's exactly the same, except instead of a Lancer, she's Beast class. So, you might be a little bit different than how you originally thought, but Draco was a more offensive-based beast. Stats were a lot closer. Space Eresh, 2100 HP, 1750 attack, so very much more of a defensive-minded one. Goddess Sugar A, increase attack for 1 turn for 3 turns, MP strength up for 3 turns, MP gauge gets increased, death resist gets applied for 3 turns, and she inflicts poison for 3 turns on all allies. So, hey, if you've got something like your Media Lily or your Castoria, you're able to clear that up with their own Noble Phantasms afterwards. So it's honestly not the worst thing there. And there's some, I think, like Locusta, I think that she has an ability that lets her gain life instead of taking damage from poison, so there are ways around it. Beast Driver B looks like we've got some sort of crit star generation, so we'll be able to get some crit stars. So looking like she might be one of these potentially arts-based crit units there. We'll have to see her Noble Phantasm in deck. And missing Starling EX, she has a invincibility effect there, so no special icons, but it probably will have some sort of special effect for one of her skills here. We shall see. Anti-Magecraft EX gives her debuff immunity 3 times for herself there, which I think helps with the poison there, because it's all allies, so it works on herself. Spatial Preservation A, apply a state that slightly increases MP gauge during normal attacks for yourself, so her attacking just gives her some flat MP gain on top of anything else that she would normally do. That's nice. Core of the Goddess E-, apply damage plus and increase debuff resist for yourself. So debuff for resist is nice. Surprising that her Core of the Goddess went down so much, but that might be because of the Beast. And Authority of Beasts E- increases your crit strength against servants there. It's probably because of that. Like, she's a beast, but she's not that beastly, so her Authority of the Beast is also pretty low. Independent Manifestation E-, slightly increase crit strength, so getting a little bit more of that crit strength. Increase death resist and mental debuff resist, so that's always nice. And apply Nullify to stun, petrify, bind, or pigify for yourself. Okay, that's always nice. Avoiding applies Nullify, so she cannot be stunned, she cannot be petrified, she cannot be binded, and she cannot be pigified. That is a really big one there as well. Prevent her from getting a lot of those. And it looks like she has a massive skill here. She has Negative Space EX for the Beast skill there, but my goodness, what is with this skill 6? Infinity Indicator EX. Space Eresh possesses a Master Affinity gauge. This gauge starts at level 1 and maxes out at level 10. Performing specific actions with Space Eresh boosts Master Affinity. The level goes up every 10 points. Her Master Affinity level resets after each battle. Ways to raise it. You raise your Master Affinity, raise Bond level to level 5. Okay, so I think that if she's at least Bond level 5, she gets a starting one when you start it up at 5 points. If you set her as a starting member, she gets another 5 points. So you can start her off at level 2. You can bring her around to battle on a near water field that gives her another 10. Successfully select one of her command cards, she gets +3. Form a Brave Chain, she gets +6. Use any skills, she gets +3. Use her skills first, probably on a turn, she gets +2. Use her Noble Phantasm with Overcharge, she gets +5 per level. Okay. Target her with a Master Skill effect, you get +5. Target her with Command Spell, you get +10, so go up 1. Spade Eresh will not have Master Affinity gauge in Friend Support mode. Her initial Master Affinity will be set to 0 and cannot be increased. So this is probably going to be based off of her Noble Phantasm or something, or one of her locked skills might give her something based off of your affinity. Okay, get all of the different pen skills, extra attack boost. Start off with some NP gauge, anti-rider up, special attack boost. So is that like crit stuff? The skill reload lets you, I believe, pick one skill that gets its cost reduced by 1 or 2, which is also really nice. And her Noble Phantasm, which is arts, Idin Shugura Collapsar, EX anti-personal. When overcharged, increase your Master Affinity. Effect increases with each level of overcharge. And when Master Affinity level is 4 or higher, increase death success rate 1 turn for yourself. So either on skill or this. When Master Affinity level is 7 or higher, you apply Ignore Defense, and apply ignore invincible for yourself, so gets past a lot of things. That's nice. When Master Affinity level is 10, so maxed out, you gain a large amount of C stars. Then you deal heavy damage, which is increased by your Master Affinity. You remove all attack buffs from your enemies, and there's a medium chance to afflict death to them all, but that gets increased if you're at least level 7. Or, nope, it's when you're at least level 4. Okay. Honestly, it's very interesting. I'd like to see it in effect, and she is going to be 2B, 2A, so a little bit of our Saber deck there, which is pretty nice. You know, we'll be able to charge her MP cage up a lot there, and yeah, she looks pretty cute with her swimsuit there, but we are going to be looking forward to seeing her other Ascension forms, because I'm sure she's going to look pretty cool. But honestly, great, yeah, we got her pretty easily, and we have more St. Quartz to spend to be able to get for her. Another big thing is that our inventory has increased for our servants and craft essences, so instead of, I think it was 800, we're now at 900, so we can keep a little bit more stuff in there. So let's see what we get, because I've got plenty of stuff to charge to let her level up there and to increase her skills. So another gold spin, another rider. We already talked about those, but it's another Martha. No, we're not going to get one of our 5 stars that we need that easily, right? No, we are going to be looking again to see if we can get her there. Or another 5-star CE, we'll absolutely take that to try to get our MLB. You know, because we got so many, maybe try to go for 2. Vessel of the Saint, one of the original 5-star craft essences. We're all good on those one there. Some more 3s. Okay, let's keep on going. Hopefully we can get another Space Fresh. If not, well, when I use some St. Quartz to get some of the other servants there, the Ptolemaeus and the Uesugi Kenshin, well, we'll be able to go back and try to get her as well. Now, I'm expecting us to not really get a whole lot for at least a few summons here, or we could get another 5 stars, so now it's 4, so we're on our way to completing that out. Don't need any of these there, so yep, we're just gonna do that. Come on, we can get some more good stuff, can't we? By good stuff, I mean one more of the 5-star and then one more Space Eresh. That would be great. There we are. Got our last 5-star. We doubled up, so we're getting closer and closer to getting 2 of those filled up, which is great. 1 for Edmond Dantes and 1 for Jean Alter. You know, isn't that perfect for them? An average one there, so we got another green face. Well, that was a lot of 5-star craft essences there. We got another gold servant in this one, Berserker. Heracles, so my first 4-star servant that I ever got, getting him again here. Alright. We got 10 more summons, like, just that's a wow. Natural Predator. Oh, and we did get another Space Eresh so easily. Oh, that's so good. Look at that. 2 Space Eresh with just our free St. Quartz. Now, this is a, you know, special servant where it's kind of difficult to get them. I'm not entirely sure when we're going to get them again. So, because we have so much free St. Quartz here, we're going to go. Maybe we can get a 3rd copy of her. Wouldn't that be something? Who knows? Maybe we'll even get like a different, you know, 5-star servant or something. That was a bit of a dud. I mean, after getting a 2nd Space Eresh, you can kind of say that that's about fair. Just a little bit of him. There we are, getting more of our 5-star, some more of our 4-star. We'll certainly take some of those. We got a few more summons here that we can do to try to get there. Oh, get a little bit of Nitocris. Okay, not that we need her, but sure, you know, we'll take more. And that's why we do it. That is why we do it. Getting 3 Space Ereshes just off of our free St. Quartz. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. She's going to be MP3, which is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, honestly, I could go on, try to get one more copy of her there or something like that, but I think 3 is enough for her. I really want to keep on going because I do have 6 more summons, but I kind of also want to save those for Ptolemaeus and Uesugi Kenshin. I will be getting some St. Quartz for them as well, but we got our 3 copies of Space Eresh. If I want to, I have like 24 or 25 USOs. I can spend one to get another copy of her to make it the 4, and then, you know, we'll see. Maybe I'll even, after I do some of my Uesugi Kenshin and Ptolemaeus, if I've got extra, I might use it, see if I can get a 4th copy of her. But yeah, I think that we came out super great. We got quite a few of our 5-star craft essence. We got 3 copies of Space Eresh. We got 2 copies of our Daiko, Ushigozen, because we got her in both GSSR and Destiny order, which is fine by me. But yeah, we got so much good stuff here. So thanks for joining me on this one. I know it's a little bit of a longer one, but there's a little bit more stuff in this one, if you know what I mean. So thanks for joining me on this one. I hope that you get this sort of luck with yourself and all of your free St. Quartz. I will look forward to having you come back on the next one there. And until then, please take care of yourself. Have a good afternoon, evening, or night. See you later.